Imagine a world where everything is calm. Cities breathe. People move. Life follows its familiar rhythm. A quiet morning. A normal walk. Nothing unusual. And then, without warning, the force holding all of humanity to the ground simply flips. Gravity reverses. In a single, silent moment, you are no longer being pulled down. You are being pulled up. Your feet loosen. Your weight disappears. The air feels lighter. Too light. You try to take a step, but the ground no longer keeps you in place. Instead, it pushes you away. Humanity has just 30 seconds before every person on Earth floats into space. To understand what comes next, you must understand the force that just betrayed us. Gravity, an invisible power shaping everything. It controls the oceans. It holds the atmosphere. It anchors your blood, your organs, your bones. It pulls every object toward the center of the Earth with a strength of 9.8 meters per second squared. But now, that same force pulls in the opposite direction. Not weaker, not slower, exactly as strong, but upward. This isn't a moment of weightlessness. This is a moment of violent reversal, forcing the entire planet into chaos. The first second is subtle. Your knees buckle not from pressure, but from the sudden lack of it. You feel strangely light, unnaturally light. By the third second, dust rises from the ground like reversed rainfall. Sand, insects, leaves, droplets of water, all drifting upward. By the fifth second, panic begins. People try to crouch. Some cling to anything they can. Others fall to the ground, hoping weight will return. But weight is no longer real. By the eighth second, humans begin lifting from the ground. Feet separate, shoes rise, bodies tilt, then drift. The force pulling them upward grows stronger with every heartbeat. At 10 seconds, the world's machines fail. Cars lose traction. Buses tilt backward. Motorcycles roll into the sky. Roads empty as entire vehicles begin to lift from their lanes like abandoned toys. Inside buildings, the ceiling becomes the new floor. Furniture rises with terrifying speed. Glass shatters upward. Tables slam into the ceiling. People are thrown toward the tops of rooms as everything not nailed, bolted, or welded becomes airborne. At 15 seconds, the oceans begin to lift. Tides reverse direction. Water peels upward from the surface in massive sheets. Harbors explode into clouds of mist as billions of tons of seawater rise toward the heavens. Fish, coral, sand, and entire waves detach from the sea and ascend, but at 18 seconds, breathing becomes harder. Air itself is rising. Clouds stretch into long vertical columns thinning the sky. Atmospheric pressure drops. Wind begins blowing upward with the strength of a global jet stream. At 20 seconds, crowds of people rise together. Families, strangers, children, floating upward in panic. Hands claw for fences, poles, tree branches, anything that remains grounded. Most cannot hold on. Earth begins to lose its people. At 22 seconds, buildings face forces they were never built for. Roofs tear away from the tops of structures. Pipes explode upward. Glass towers bend as their weight distribution reverses. Streets crack as the planet's crust adjusts to the sudden shift. At 25 seconds, the atmosphere starts peeling away. Wind becomes a global upward hurricane. Oxygen thins dramatically. Breathing feels like gasping through a narrow straw. At 28 seconds, the final moments of resistance collapse. Hands slip, metal twists, wood breaks, every anchor gives way. At 30 seconds, humanity leaves Earth. Entire cities rise. Millions of bodies drift into the sky, accelerating. The blue planet becomes a world of falling buildings and rising lives. And now the true consequences unfold. Gravity is more than a downward pull. It is the organizing principle of life. Without it, the atmosphere cannot stay attached. Oceans cannot remain on the surface. Plants cannot grow roots. Animals cannot regulate blood. Humans cannot survive. Within minutes, Earth begins to unravel. The atmosphere escapes into space, forming a thinning shell around the planet. Breathable air vanishes. Everything suffocates. The oceans rise in massive spirals, eventually forming a drifting sphere of water high above the planet. Earth's surface becomes dry, cracked, and exposed. With the seas gone, pressure deep within the planet shifts violently. Volcanoes erupt upward, launching magma into the sky. Forests lift root first, mountains lose their snowcaps, entire landscapes detach and float away. Humans ascend beyond the atmosphere, entering freezing temperatures. Radiation floods their bodies. Blood begins to boil without pressure. Consciousness fades within seconds. In less than an hour, the Earth becomes unrecognizable, a silent desert world, stripped of oceans and air, surrounded by drifting clouds of water and debris. In a single moment, gravity, the most reliable force in our lives, became the cause of our extinction. Could this ever truly happen? Not according to the laws of physics we understand. For gravity to reverse, the world would need negative mass, inverted spacetime, or unimaginable cosmic intervention. Yet the universe is filled with forces we barely comprehend. Black holes twisting spacetime, neutron stars compressing matter, cosmic anomalies that warp the rules of reality. Perhaps the point is not whether gravity would reverse, but how fragile our world becomes when a single universal constant changes. We walk every day, unaware of the cosmic balance that makes life possible. We breathe because a force keeps our atmosphere close. We live because gravity allows blood to reach our brains. We stand because the Earth holds us. But if that force turned against us, even for 30 seconds, nothing could be saved, nothing could survive. The universe is vast, its laws are ancient, but they are not unbreakable. And if gravity could betray us, what other forces of the universe might be waiting for their moment to change everything? What if tomorrow another constant shifted? What if the next change is already coming? What if the universe is preparing its next surprise? Would we survive it? Or would we witness another moment where humanity has only seconds left